Yay Media Group.
What's up, snitches and hoes? Ooh, my intrusive thoughts. Hey, everybody, it's your boy Cornelius joining you for another episode of This is Life with Heather and Cornelius. Thank you so much for joining us. Yo, so if you have not, you've not like been awoke like the past, I don't know, decade, you probably don't even recognize that we have a serious loneliness epidemic that's going on right now. I think it's probably gone to more of a pandemic type of thing. People are more and more lonely, and you would ask yourself the question, are lonely? Or people, you would ask the question, well, why in the world would that be? Because now with technology, we have the ability to be more connected than we've ever been before in our entire lives. I mean, could you imagine what the founding fathers of America could have done if they had X? Maybe, who knows? Could you imagine what could have happened if Christopher Columbus actually had Google Maps? Maybe he could have truly went to the destination that he was going to and not discovered somebody else's land. But you could have, who knows what could have happened? Technology is such a great source. We use it. I mean, now with AI, are you kidding me? Like, who thinks anymore? My teachers, they all owe me an apology. Number one, they told me that you'll never be carrying around a calculator for the rest of your life. Now I have a calculator. Who does math anymore? My kids legit looked at me. They're doing their math homework, and my son looked at me, and he said, Dad, what is 6 plus 4? And I was like, dude, get your phone. Like, dude, don't ask me. I have no idea. I'm still counting on my fingers. I'm like 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. 10, son, is 10. Technology is great, though. It's amazing. The problem is that technology was never meant to replace true, authentic relationship. And somehow we got it to. And then we use this great word in social media called friends. And the other word we started to use was followers. So now on Facebook and other social media platforms, like, how many friends do you have? And it gets you into this illusion that just because you have 5,000 people who have clicked a button to add you as a friend, you may think that they're really your friends when they're not. Because there are some people who are only your friends on your Facebook page because they want to make fun of you. I know, because I follow some of you I'm not going to say that out loud, but that's just what happens. We've bought into this illusion that somehow we are connected and we are popular. We have this insight to people's lives and that we can give insight to other people because we have these people who somehow follow us. And that was the other thing. You have some social media networks. It's like, well, how many followers do you have? These people who we think are following us in all these different places. The truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, it's just not true. It's just not real. I mean, now because of the algorithms, you don't even see half of the people that you follow. I think on my pages, I probably see the same old people all the time. And I click on somebody's news page and I see them all the time. It just fits into the algorithm. But what about our connectivity? We've lost it somehow, and we're lonely. We know more about people who live 1,000 miles away from us than the person who lives next door. I grew up, as you know, in a very small town. We knew about the people who lived in the small town. On the weekends, we'd get in the car. My mom typically had some food, and we'd go over to our neighbor's house. We'd sit down with our neighbor. We'd eat. We'd talk. I'd go outside and play. Or I go wait in the car because I'm ready to go home, or my mom sits in there and talks. That's just what happened. We're lonely now, but back then, when you wanted to talk to somebody, you had to get up. You had to go to them. You had to go check on them. Nowadays, it's, we had a hurricane, or if you had an earthquake, or you had a tornado, it's easy for you to go on social media and just click, I'm safe. And people will say, oh, they're safe. They're okay. I heard the call. But maybe they marked I'm safe, but their whole house has been torn down. We don't check on each other anymore. I mean, for what? We don't need to call anymore. We started getting the phone. And I mean, I lived in Mississippi. I believe that we got everything after everybody else did. And I remember forget when we got a house phone. It was like the most revolutionary thing ever. It's like we had the house phone and then we got like cell phones. It was like, whoa, this is so cool. So now we're more connected than we've ever been. But the problem is that our connectivity does not resolve this loneliness that is within us. And people get into relationship and they are still incredibly lonely because now I can compare my relationship with other people's relationships. And now I can be so embedded in somebody else's relationship and somebody else's marriage that I'm not even embedded in my own. I can watch all the dating shows and I could just be so entrenched in everybody else's life. And it's like, ooh, look at what they're doing, look what they're doing, what they're doing, what they're doing. And then you may start to feel bad about your own dating experience. I mean, hey, think about it. You ever seen 600 Pound Life? 99% of them have somebody. And you're running around here, you ain't got nobody. And you know what? If I didn't have anybody and I watched that show, I'd probably feel some type of way. Because they all got somebody. I mean, they all have somebody. They have somebody. And you're really, we can laugh about it, but you listen to this, you ain't got nobody. And that could probably make you feel some type of way. But the thing is, we're still lonely. And they even have somebody. And even with the person that they have, they only have really an enabler that continues to enable them to eat the way that they do because they're still lonely inside. Because two things. Number one, they haven't found peace with themselves yet. And it's difficult for you to be at peace with yourself when you're constantly at war with yourself. You're at war with all the trauma that you've been through, all the trauma that you've experienced. You're at war with the words that you have been called. Because honestly, it's not really the words that you are called that brings you so many issues. It's the words you choose to believe. Somebody can call you stupid. I mean, if I was walking down the street right now and a homeless man shouted out, "You dumb, blah, 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 blah," you'd be like, oh my God, he's drunk. I just keep walking. I don't care. But if somebody I knew and I loved said, "You're a dumb piece of blah, 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 blah," and I believed it because I actually honored them and their words, that's when I started to believe it. I started to become what I believe because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. When I believed it, took root in my heart. When I started to believe it, as I continue to grow, I become it. This is the way it goes. Number one, you haven't found peace with yourself. So you're still wrestling. You're still at war. And you can't just sit still. That's been my biggest thing. It's like, oh my gosh. I remember I was on this resort. I was on this trip with my wife. We're at this beautiful resort. And my wife was like, "I really want you to take this meditation class." And oh my God, had to been one of the worst experiences I had ever had. But it was a meditation, and it was a hanging meditation class. That's what it was, a hanging meditation class. And so I had to get inside of this sheet that this lady had hanging from the ceiling, which I was confident I'm not going to make it. I'm going to die because there's no way I'm going to get in this thing. And I feel like I'm too tall to get in it and everything. So I get inside of this sheet and I'm, getting inside and she's like, "Okay, now we're going to take some time to do some breathing exercises." And I had to probably been in the sheet for maybe 10 seconds before I completely just started, my whole body started to shake. I was just so nervous. I just wanted to get out of the stupid thing so freaking bad. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done before in my life because I just I don't want to face my own thoughts. Like I go to the gym. When I go to the gym, I got to put on my headphones and I got to like blast my music because I don't want to, when I'm at the gym, I don't want to be faced with the weights and my thoughts because my thoughts are heavier. I don't want to be faced with the weights and my responsibilities because my responsibilities are heavier, or the weights and my failures because my failures are heavier. I don't want to be faced with that crap, so I want to put on some music, and I'm just going to knuck if you buck to these weights and just keep going. Like, that's what I wanted to do. But, I know that is a weak area for me that I got to take some time to, like, meditate and think and breathe. The other day, I did something huge. I drove in the car without anything on. Now, I almost crashed because I felt like I was going to sleep because I was like, people actually do this? Like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. But I got in the car and I just said, I'm not turning on the radio. I'm not turning on a podcast. I'm not turning on Audible. I'm not turning on anything. I'm just going to ride in the car with nothing on. And the whole time I thought, this is the dumbest thing in the world. But you know what? I conquered it because I want to learn how to be okay with being by myself. Because being alone and being lonely are not the same. It's okay for me to be alone. I like to be alone. In fact, if you listened to 2 weeks ago in the podcast, you know that, hey, being alone is part of my replenishment cycle. I actually I could travel by myself and be absolutely fine. I have my own routine. When I get to a hotel, when I get to a resort, first thing I do is when I'm by myself is I turn the air conditioner down as low as it can go. 64, 63, 60 degrees. I want it to be, when I come back, I want my windows to be frosted over. It's just that crazy. I turn my air conditioner down all the way, and then I get dressed, I go to the gym. That's what I do. I don't mind being alone. Alone with my thoughts, we're still working on it. But being alone, it's fine. I can be alone. Have you gotten to that place of saying, I'm okay with being alone? Maybe not, because you still feel lonely. And being alone is just saying, you know what? I'm accepting myself. I'm accepting my humanity. I'm accepting me for who I am. And in this place of me being alone, I'm not trying to prove anything to myself. I'm not trying to achieve anything. I'm not trying to become anything. I'm going to just be alone. I'll be fine alone. So, number one, many of us just haven't found peace with ourselves. Then number two, it's been difficult for us, myself included, to just really have good community or even create it. My wife and I, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, how difficult it is as an adult to make friends. It is so freaking difficult. Like, you know, when you're younger, like my daughter comes home every day. She's like, oh my goodness, this is my friend. I want to so bad just be like, she's not your friend. She's not your friend. Little dweeb isn't your friend. Trust me, she's not your friend. I'm just like, okay, you can't project onto your kid. Like, let her have this moment. You know, we still give her some boundaries. Hey, you know, before you start calling this person your friend, like start thinking about it. I still get it. But yeah, and still it's like, you know, she's not your friend. But my daughter's like, she's my friend, Dad. That's my friend. And it's completely fine. When we get older, we have experienced friendship trauma, friendship issues. The friend we had is gone. You know, when you're younger, it's a lot easier because, you know, you typically friends with people you're in proximity with. So, you know, my daughter is friends with the little girls that are in her class. And of course you would be. I mean, you're with them 7-8 hours a day. Who else you can be friends with? It's the same way how people say you have work friends, or people try to caution you and saying people at work are not your friends. But of course you develop a bond with them. Why? Because, you know, you're with each other 7, 8, 9 hours a day, and you have to take work trips together. And you have to meet up for you know, social events and team meetings and this and that. You have to work together. So now those become your work friends. And so you have these people. Then you go to college, you know, when you get to college, you develop these friendships with people, which is why most times a lot of people who have long-standing relationships as adults typically keep the same friends that they had when they were in, you know, they say high school, college. In smaller towns, it's typically easier to maintain these friendships. Why? Because you're in closer proximity. When you get to a larger city or people start to move away, now you're graduating from college and now you're not going to the same med school anymore. Now you're not going to the same dentistry school. Now you're not going to the same, you know, law school. Now you're going to do something different. Now you're going off to the army. Now you're going to a trade school. And now you're leaving this small town. And now where are my friends at now? Now we're not hanging out like we used to. And now here's the other thing. We have responsibility now. We have to pay insurance. Like the day my mom was like, hey, I can't keep you on my insurance anymore. That was like a pretty hard day. Like we should talk about that more. I don't understand. That's traumatic. Yet and still, we have responsibilities now. We get to a point where we don't have the time anymore to really set aside to say, I really want to have true authentic community and true authentic friendship. Now, the Bible that I read says, if you want to have friends, you have to show yourself friendly, which means you actually have to be friendly. So maybe when you're standing in public, be more cognizant of your face. I get that all the time. You know, be more cognizant of your face. Put a smile on your face. Seem inviting. When you see somebody that's really cool, reach out to them. Just be nice. Hey, how you doing? You know, another big thing is I've learned as an adult in trying to build good community and build great friendships. I don't try to go to new places. Like for me, I'm not going to the club to meet a friend because I don't go to clubs. I mean, heck, I don't even like going to the library. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to go to a setting where it is socially acceptable for you to just stand around. That in my head does my son is like, Dad, just drop me off at the mall. I'm just gonna walk around the mall. For what? For what? I don't get that. But nevertheless, people do that. I wouldn't do that. I can make friends at the gym. I like going to the gym. You know what? I'll make friends sitting in first class because I like traveling. I'll make friends sitting in the Centurion Lounge in the airport because that's a great place. That's a place I like to be, just away from everybody else, eating some food, waiting for my flight. I like to go places where I like to go. And those are places where I like to meet new people. Like go to places, go to do things that you already like to do. If you like to bake, go to a baking class. You can make some great friends. You like to read, go to a reading club. You can make some great friends. You like to quilt, go to a quilting course. You like to underwater basket weave. If you like to dive down deep and play with shark balls, like probably shouldn't have said that. But if you like to do that, like go do that. And that's where you make great friends. And then from those friendships, you help to build great community. And it's not always just, woe is me, victimhood. Nobody's reaching out to me. Nobody wants to be my friend. Maybe a lot of people want to be your friend, but maybe you keep pushing them off and you keep pushing them away. But we need to do these two things. Number one, evaluate. Have you made peace with yourself? Are you okay with you? And if not, seek the help. Seek out the therapy or whatever else you need in order to get the help that you need. And then on the other part of that, are you doing everything that you possibly can to have great friendships, to be more connected? Are you being authentic enough for yourself? And then number two, are you confident enough to have that same type of authenticity in the midst of community? Because if not, it's easy for you to join a community, but if you are not constantly showing up, that's problematic. I'm talking about you showing up. When I say you showing up, I mean, this is who I am. I'm not hiding. I'm not pretending. This is just who I am. And I'm okay with who I am. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody else in order to fit into your group. And if you ever feel like you have to fit into somebody else's group, I'm here to tell you that is not your group and those are not your people. But it's time for us to be more connected. Just connect. I don't know where. I don't know how. Just connect. I love finding really dope people and just saying, I just want to tell you, I think that you are dope. That's it. If it goes anywhere from there, cool. If not, hey, I just gave a great compliment because I would love to get that from somebody else. Let's give a great compliment. I think you're really dope. And that's it. I just move forward. Listen, we want you to be more connected. And on top of that, I'm glad that you have stayed connected with us. My wife and I are thoroughly overjoyed by the fact that you are connected with us, and we absolutely love it. So make sure that you stay locked in. Maybe you know some people who need this. Send this to 2 or 3 people. Make sure you stay locked into it. You like, subscribe, all those different things, wherever you're watching, wherever you are tuned in, and know that we love you. We'll be back here next week. Introduces. We're out.
Yay Media Group.